Hey everybody, how you doing? So I just wanted to show you guys this. I'll read it out because I think most of you probably already seen this already, but I want to get my views out there on this. The devil's always in the detail. Starmer's reset deal on fishing not only gives the EU 12 more years, it binds future governments to it. Brussels could introduce tariffs on British exports if EU access to the EU coastal waters is restricted before 2038. This is a three-term sellout of the British fishing industry. There won't be a British fishing industry after this. It's going to destroy fishing communities and our fishing industry totally. I'll carry on. The Tories, no reform could undo it without inflicting a Trump-style trade war with the UK. This is astonishingly pro-EU deal was just signed by a British Prime Minister. So with this news, because apparently we're going to have closer ties to the EU, which is something we all voted to get away from in 2016, but the Ramonas are happy because now they don't have to queue up in their queues at passport control, so they can go on holiday and holiday in their villas in France, Spain, or whatever. And all it cost was the total destruction of our fishing industry and the livelihoods of fishermen and their families who could possibly stand to lose their houses. But we've got the Ramonas on Twitter, on social media, gloating, happy that Brexiteers are upset over this, that we've been totally and utterly betrayed yet again by another British Prime Minister. And the thing is, right, they keep saying, we never saw the benefits to Brexit. Brexit was a disaster. No, Brexit wasn't a disaster. The leadership was a disaster. All we needed was strong leadership to toe the line and to go tough on the EU. We wanted a hard Brexit. But we had all these Ramonas in Parliament. If you remember, we had the Theresa May surrender deal. Boris Johnson rehashed it. And that's the deal we got. If we'd have stood our ground and had strong leadership at the time, this would never have happened. We would have had our free movement. People could have freely gone through and used the e-passport terminals. We could have had that if we'd have stayed strong. The EU needs us more than we need the EU. And this was all the way through the referendum, the build-up to the referendum. We knew the facts are coming out. We don't need the EU. The EU is a protectionist racket. It doesn't like having competition next to it. It doesn't like that at all. It has to control everything. It's authoritarian. Look at all the countries in Europe that want to get out of the EU because they know it's a protectionist and it's authoritarian. I'm not going to go through all the ins and outs of why we left the EU. It's obvious, it's blindly obvious, and it's just a few fucking idiots that didn't want to leave, and that's the issue. The political class didn't want to leave the EU, and they did everything within their power to keep us attached to the EU, even as far back as Rishi Sunak, when he refused to repeal thousands upon thousands of EU law that tied us together. We never actually left the EU. We did on paper, but in law, we're still attached to the EU in many, many ways. They didn't want to leave. Why didn't they want to leave? Because they got it easy. They got a nice little gravy train. They were going to get their EU pensions. It was easy for them. But, us plebs, we didn't want any of it because it was bad for us. It was good for them, but it was bad for us. And the Ramonas can't see that. Obviously, there were certain Ramonas that owned the fruit farms that were getting cheap labour from the EU that were coming in. They were bussing them in. I did a video about this ages ago on a different channel about how the fruit farmers wouldn't accept British workers because they would have to pay them more. They paid the EU workers less. And of course, nobody's going to enforce the minimum wage laws because nobody cares. It was cheap labour and they got away with it. And that's what they want again. It's just a complete sellout of Britain. And all it took for the Ramonas to get what they wanted was for us to have a complete reversal of Brexit, because this is kind of what this is. A complete reversal of Brexit was for all the fishermen to lose their livelihoods. Well, Well done. Well done. Absolutely well done. Ramonas, you fucking bunch of idiots.